Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video. Thank you so much for joining. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut the corset perfectly. A corset blouse or gown, whichever you are cutting, is the same pattern for all, except for some very little different things in them. So today I'm going to be showing you how to cut the perfect corset dress. I'll be using the cup to cut out the corset. I'll be folding into two and then using it to cut out the corset. So then I'm going to move on to cutting my corset pattern. I'm going to take my cup, fold it into two and place it on a piece of paper. You see this? You see what I'm doing? The last video I did was a yokeless cup, but this is going to have a yoke. So what you do is chalk all around the cup, chalk around it, extend it up. You can measure this. We have 7.5, but we ought to be having up to 8.5 plus our sewing allowance. That is your underbust measurement minus your yoke line. You should be having up to 8.5. So I've measured the 8.5. Measure whatever you have there. That's 1 inch. Come down here. Also measure the 1 inch. Come to the side also. Measure the 1 inch. At the side, you are going to link this 1 inch measured to the tip of the cup, to the downside of the cup. So you link this instead of using this original line. You link this to the curve, and then you link these two together. You link this together. I hope you understand. If you don't, please tell me. Let me make a clearer video. So a yoked cup, you're going to come down here. Most of the time, people use about 3 inches or 2.5 inches. But for this, I'm going to be using 3 inches. So this is 3. At the other side, this is 3. So following this curve, you also link this curve together. Can we see this? So you are going to trim. You can now trim it out. Trim exactly the shape of the cup you marked at the center, exactly the shape, and then you can go ahead and cut out your yoke. But then what I do most of the time is to notch this side and then notch this side, so you know which side is going to which one. Can you see? So we know this is the side that is going together, why this is the center. Then I take all of this and cut out my fabric, my original fabric for the corset. This is our core yoke. So this is what we have. So I'm going to place all my fabrics on the lining and then cut out the lining. So because my paper is not enough, I'm going to be cutting out with a single paper instead of doubled. So There's no problem with that, since we are still going to place on our fabric to cut. I'm going to make use of my measurement because of the style I'm making, which is something like this. Some styles require the back to go down even further, to the extent of the girdle length, which is the second half length. Some styles require one side to go down. Make sure you cut this according to the requirement of the style which you are sewing, according to the requirement of whichever style you are sewing. So that is the key point. Some require this to go down, some one side is going down while the other is remaining at the half length. But I'm cutting out something like this, I'm making something like this. So let's move on. So I'm not going to be measuring my second half length on this pattern. I'm going to be stopping at my half length of 17. Under bust 14. I'm going to measure at both sides. Half length 17, under bust 14. My armhole 8 inches. My armhole 8 inches. I'm also going to come to this side and rule out a zip allowance of 1 inch. You can add whatever suits you. You might use 2 inches, 1.5 inches, but for this particular dress I'll be using 1 inch. A shoulder, which is 8. So I'm going to be linking all the measurements together. I'm going to be linking them together. So this is what we have. This is our armhole. This is our shoulder, this is the under bust, and this is the half length. So furthermore, I'm going to go on and measure my dart line at the half length. I had a dart line of 4 1/4 at the half length. Then I'll come up to the armhole, but instead of using that same 4 1/4, I'm going to add 1 inch to it. So I have 4 3/4 as a design of the back. At the armhole, I'm going to measure my bust, divided by 4, 9 3/4 plus 2.5 inches. Don't forget, you are measuring on this chalked zip line. Don't start your measurements from here, so the dress won't be defaulted. Please and please don't forget, you are starting your measurement from this chalked zip line. So I have 9 3/4, can we see, plus 2.5 inches for our bust. Our under bust, I had 8.5 plus 2.5 inches. Our waistline, I had 9 1/4 our waistline, I had 35, which is 8 3/4 plus 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to link my measurement together, linking my measurement together. So this is what we have at the back. Don't forget, at the shoulder, you come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. Measure your shoulder 3, instead of the 3.5 we use for the front, I'm only going to be using 1/1/4 or 1 inch. It also depends on the style. It depends strongly on the style. At the armhole, I'll come up by the shoulder length by 1 inch, and I'll come down by 1 inch. I'm going to link this 1 inch to the other one. Which is the design of the back. This doesn't work for every back. There are lots of designs, but for this particular style, this is what I'll be using. So I've linked this. Then I'll also link my 4/1/4 to my 4/3/4. So I have it all linked. I'll link my zip allowance, my neck, and then my shoulder slant. Then at the armhole, instead of coming in like I did earlier, I won't be doing that because there is no bust at the back of a lady. There's no breast at the back. Just link, make sure you place your French curve in a way that it reaches your shoulder point, shoulder glide, shoulder slant, and your bust measurement at your armhole. So then you chalk from here to there neatly. So this is what I have for my back pattern. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to be cutting out each pieces. This, just like the front yoke, I'll be using a veil net for the replacement. A veil net to make the yoke at the front and this of the back. So because I'm using a veil net, I won't be needing my zip allowance. I'll just be using maybe an hook and eye to hold the back together at the top here. So I'm going to be keeping this too for my skin color veil net. So this is the back pattern. I've cut the front pattern, so I'm going to go on and cut the back pattern. So the next thing I'm going to go on and do now is to cut our lining and then the padding.